Hello friends, imagine this for a second. You're sitting on a short flight, a calm November evening, the sky outside turning dark as the plane slowly climbs higher. The journey is barely half an hour long, and everything feels ordinary. Passengers are relaxed, the crew is polite, and nothing seems out of place. But what if I told you that one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in aviation history began on such an ordinary flight? On the 24th of November, 1971, a Northwest Orient Airlines flight took off from Portland. It was a simple 30-minute trip to Seattle, carrying only 36 passengers and 6 crew members. None of them had the slightest idea that one man on board was about to change history forever. His name was Dan Cooper. Though the world would later remember him as the legendary D.B. Cooper, he didn't look like a criminal. In fact, he blended in perfectly, dressed like a businessman in a black suit, white shirt, and dark tie. He was calm, polite, and in his mid-40s. He chose a seat at the very back of the plane, number 180. A few minutes after takeoff, he caught the attention of an air hostess named Florence Schaffner. With a pleasant smile, he handed her a folded note. She thought it was just a flirtatious gesture and slipped it into her pocket without reading. But Cooper leaned toward her and quietly said, "Miss, you should read the note." "I have a bomb." Her heart sank. Shocked, she opened the note. Written neatly were the chilling words, "I have a bomb in my briefcase and I want you to sit beside me." Florence sat down next to him, still uncertain whether he was bluffing. But when Cooper opened his briefcase slightly, she saw its red cylinders, wires, and what looked like a battery. There was no doubt left. Calmly, Cooper explained his demands. $200,000 in cash, for parachutes, 2 for the back and 2 for the front. And once they landed, he wanted the plane refueled and ready to take off again. He warned her that any tricks or strange behavior would result in him blowing up the entire aircraft. Florence relayed the message to the cockpit, and another air hostess, Tina Mucklow, was called to sit beside Cooper and keep him calm. With Tina's help, communication between the pilots and Cooper was maintained. Meanwhile, the airline's president, Donald Nyrup, made a surprising decision. Instead of resisting, he ordered complete cooperation with the hijacker. His fear wasn't just about lives on board, it was about reputation. He didn't want the news to spread globally and ruin the airline's image. So the FBI and a Seattle bank began working to gather the cash, all in $20 bills. Unknown to Cooper, every serial number was carefully recorded for tracking later. But there was a problem. The flight was too short, and money arrangements needed time. So instead of landing, the pilot circled Seattle for almost 3 hours while passengers thought there were only technical difficulties. Finally, at 5:46 p.m., the plane landed in Seattle. As instructed, it was parked far away from the terminal. A representative delivered the cash and parachutes, and Cooper allowed the passengers and 2 attendants to leave, sparing only Tina with the pilots. The plane was refueled, and then it took off again into the night. Cooper ordered them to fly south toward Mexico City, but under very specific conditions, at just 10,000 feet altitude, with the wings tilted at 15 degrees, and flying as slow as possible. The pilots warned this might not be feasible with fuel, but Cooper remained firm. Somewhere between Seattle and Reno, Cooper told Tina to go into the cockpit and lock the door. Alone in the cabin, he strapped on the parachutes, secured the cash, and prepared himself. A warning light in the cockpit confirmed the rear staircase had been deployed. Then into the freezing dark night, D.B. Cooper jumped. At exactly 8:13 p.m., the pilots noticed a sudden shift. The tail of the plane lifted upward as if weight had been removed. They landed later in Reno, but Cooper was gone. No bomb, no money, no parachutes, nothing but a discarded tie and a few cigarette butts. The FBI swarmed the case immediately. For the next 45 years, they chased every clue. But Cooper had vanished without a trace, leaving behind one of the boldest mysteries in American history. Before I tell you how investigators chased him, how money mysteriously reappeared years later, and the unbelievable theories about who DB Cooper really was. Let me ask you something. Stories like these take countless hours of research and effort to bring alive for you. If you love mysterious stories that keep you on the edge of your seat, don't forget to subscribe. Join me, and together we'll dive into history's deepest secrets. The mystery of DB Cooper became an obsession for the FBI. Right after the jump, investigators searched Washington state forests, rivers, and farmlands. They were convinced Cooper couldn't have survived. Think about it, jumping at night in freezing rain through heavy winds, dressed only in a business suit. The plane speed was around 320 kilometers per hour. If he had landed in the icy rivers or lakes, hypothermia would have killed him within minutes. And carrying nearly 10 kilos of cash strapped to his body? It sounded impossible, yet, years later, doubts began to surface. Copycat hijackers soon emerged, inspired by Cooper's daring stunt. Strangely, each of them survived their jumps. One of them, Martin McNally, even leapt from a plane going faster than Cooper's. Another hijacker, Richard LaPointe, jumped into the snow and survived too. If they could do it, maybe Cooper had as well. The fact that Cooper seemed to know exactly how parachutes worked suggested he had training, perhaps in the military or as an aircraft cargo loader. The FBI searched tirelessly. They even released the serial numbers of the $20 bills Cooper took, urging banks, casinos, and stores across America to watch for them. For years, not a single bill surfaced. Then, in 1980, an incredible discovery shook the case. An 8-year-old boy digging near the Columbia River found several bundles of $20 bills, still bound together by rubber bands. When checked, the serial numbers matched Cooper's ransom money. It was only $5,800 of the total $200,000, but it proved Cooper, or at least his money, had reached that river. Did he fall in and drown? Or did he survive and hide the rest? No one knows. Over time, investigators also analyzed the tie Cooper left behind. Using electron microscopes, they found traces of titanium and rare alloys used mainly in aircraft manufacturing in the 1970s. Could Cooper have worked at Boeing? Could he have been an insider who knew these planes too well? The FBI released sketches of Cooper's face, refined over time with witness input, until a final version was confirmed by air hostess Tina Mucklow as accurate. The mystery deepened. Hundreds of suspects were considered, but 2 names became infamous. Richard McCoy, an Army veteran who hijacked a plane just months after Cooper, using nearly the same method. He was caught quickly, sent to prison, and later killed during a jailbreak attempt. Some insisted he was Cooper, but the FBI dismissed this, pointing to evidence McCoy was elsewhere during the original hijacking. The other was Robert Rackstraw, a Vietnam War veteran with a suspicious past of fraud and aircraft theft. His face resembled the sketches, and some investigators swore he was Cooper. Documentaries and books claimed him as the real hijacker, but the FBI again lacked proof. Rackstraw denied it all, and he died in 2019, still shrouded in speculation. Through all this, the FBI eventually admitted defeat. In 2016, after 45 years, they officially closed the case. No parachutes, no body, no full ransom money, nothing ever proved what truly happened. DB Cooper simply vanished into legend, and maybe that's why his story is so captivating. He wasn't violent, no passengers were harmed. He didn't fire a single shot. He tricked the world's biggest investigation agency and disappeared into thin air, leaving only mystery behind. Was he a genius who planned it all perfectly? Or an unlucky man who died in the wilderness, his name surviving far longer than his body ever did? Now, after hearing this unbelievable tale, I want to know what you think. When DB Cooper jumped that night, did he really survive and escape with the money? Or did nature claim him before he ever touched the ground? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your theories. Because one thing is certain, DB Cooper may have vanished in the sky, but his mystery continues to haunt us all.